A 50-year-old American and a 28-year-old Brazilian were arraigned in court today on 32 counts of fraud-related charges. It's alleged that American John Forrest and Brazilian Lunete Palmeira defrauded the Sheraton Cable Beach Resort Rio Hotel on Paradise Island and the nearby Atlantis Resort out of some $70,000. Court papers allege that the duo carried out their scheme between November 5th and December 2nd of this year. The pair is expected to be deported. Noting the trend of supposedly missing teen girls turning out to have been willingly staying with older men all along, police say they'll intensify the prosecution of the men involved in such cases. Right now, police are investigating such a case, hoping to send a clear message to men who often escape prosecution after harboring the minors. Here's Clint Watson.
Recent teenage girls going missing for days and sometimes weeks and later turning up, and because these cases may have some serious concerns attached, has provoked police to make yet another appeal. Recently, police spoke out about the alarming trend that many of these females are found in the company of older men. Head of Crime Prevention Unit Superintendent Stephen Dean says they're taking some major steps to deal with this.
The police will be actively pursuing you. The police have some idea of where we are. Soon, Clint, in short order, you should see persons being appeared in the front of the court. We have to make examples out of some of these people.
But the responsibility is not resting with the men alone. Police say parents have a role to play.
Parents cannot transfer that responsibility of their children. We see too many cases of parents just seem to be just going their merry way, leaving their children on their own, and the signs are evident before them, Clint, and when they catch it, it's too late. We're saying, parents, you have that responsibility. It's not a government problem. It's not a police. It is not the leaders of the church. You have that awesome responsibility. And Clinton, another thing too, when we look at the christening, so to speak, when children are christened, you see all kind of persons representing God, parents, at sometimes 10 and 12 of them, then they go have a party afterwards. We are saying those persons too, in the front of the priest, in the front of the pastor, they give when the charge is given, they say they will make sure this child has grown up under fear and admonition of the Lord.
In fact, we asked Superintendent Dean whether there should be legislation to hold parents responsible when it's found that their negligence led to a crime.
Particularly if they know some sexual activities going on, parents should be held accountable. Clint, parents should be held accountable. There's no way in this country an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 13-year-old should be able to just wander through streets, new problems, go missing for 5 days, come back home, missing again. It cannot happen. It should not be happening. Parents should be held accountable. They cannot transfer that to nobody else. They should be held accountable.
Clint Watson, ZNS News.
And this just into our newsroom. You may recall that on Friday of last week, around 10:15 a.m., the body of a female was found on a rocky area of Blue Water Key, just south of Fox Hill Road, with injuries to the upper body. Well, tonight, police are reporting that they have identified that victim as a 17-year-old girl. She is 17-year-old Candace Major of 2nd Street, Coconut Grove. Police say they're continuing their investigation into this matter, and they're appealing to members of the public who may have any information on this crime to call them. Also tonight, breaking news, police are at this hour at the scene of a shooting. A man has been shot on Bamboo Boulevard. That's off East Street South. Police are working that scene now. We'll give you more details as they become available. A dispute between two cousins has resulted in one of them being shot in the mouth. The shooting took place around 11 o'clock this morning on Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street. Initial police reports indicate that the victim was at his Palm Beach Street residence when he was approached by another man and subsequently shot. The victim collapsed at a nearby tire shop before he was taken away by ambulance. An 18-year-old was taken into custody in connection with that shooting. The Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation launching this season's Buy Fresh, Buy Bahamian campaign. The initiative is expected to provide consumers greater access to a wider variety of locally grown produce. Fern Carey has details.
The Buy Fresh, Buy Bahamian initiative will help market Bahamian agricultural products while promoting awareness in the local agricultural sector. It's also expected to bridge the gap between farmers, producers, and other stakeholders in the industry. And with our national food bill pegged at $500 million, getting consumers to buy more local produce will not only reduce that bill, but help to boost the bottom line of farmers.
If only a third of the estimated $500 million annual national food bill is spent in support of Bahamian farmers and producers, Imagine the additional jobs and careers it could create. When you buy local produce, you are encouraging food security.
And with hoteliers reportedly spending millions of dollars purchasing items that can be produced locally, executive chef at the Atlantis Resort, Rosemary Sinclair Hepburn, agrees.
We've been analyzing our top 20 items that we spend the most money on this last 2011. And one of the biggest challenges we have, fresh pineapples. And I know pineapples in the Bahamas can be produced year-round, but we've been getting pineapples from all over the world, all over South America, and pineapple is one of the top 20 items that we've spent the most money on that we would like to do something about come 2012.
Meantime, the BAIC chairman believes more money needs to be pumped into agriculture if the Bahamas is to achieve food security moving forward.
If the government each year in the budget would put a $10 million or $15 million allocation for agriculture, in 10 years we would be feeding ourselves. We'd be exporting food.
Fern Carey, ZNS News.
The Ministry of Tourism is among the stakeholders partnering with the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation in its Buy Fresh, Buy Bahamian marketing initiative. According to the Ministry of Tourism's Deanne Gibson, culinary tourism is the fast-growing sector, and efforts are being made to ensure that locally grown produce is featured prominently on Bahamian menus.
This will attract the culinary travelers, or better known as the foodies, who are more inclined to pay for the locally grown food that is organically grown and fresh to the table. This market is the fastest growing sector in the tourism industry today. We at the Ministry of Tourism seek to ensure that the activity of the agro-tourism trade between farmers, hotels, and restaurants provide unique, memorable, and exciting experiences that the visitors will always remember.
Wholesalers also note that the initiative will create a sustainable future for Bahamian farmers.
With the addition of the culinary personnel joining on the trip, I think it's going to force some diversification of crops, which is highly positive when we talk about sustainability and the future of farming. I'm very happy to see culinary individuals going along on this trip. I think it's going to be very advantageous to the farmers, and some very good dialogue and good future farming can only come out of this.
We're just days away from the official start of the 2011-2012 Junkanoo season, and organizers of the popular cultural event say they're leaving nothing to chance this go-around. From security to seating arrangements to judging, they're expecting everything to go smoothly. Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Charles Maynard, along with Junkanoo group leaders, police and other representatives, held a walkthrough of the parade route today.
I want to emphasize that it takes a lot of time and effort and planning to ensure that we have safe and productive parades, starting with the police who do their work almost all year round. After one parade is over, they do their post-mortem to see what went well and what didn't go well. And I think that every year we've improved on the security system.
And with safety always a top concern, Assistant Commissioner of Police Glenn Miller says all ranks of the police force will be out to man the streets.
We've been in contact with the leaders of the Junkanoo group. We critique security last year, and we intend to improve on it this year. We have identified hotspots, areas where we had problems last year, and we intend to beef up security in those areas.